Imagine opening a box of chicken nuggets. Now imagine someone telling you, you're eating dinosaur meat. It sounds ridiculous, like something straight out of a science fiction movie. After all, dinosaurs disappeared 66 million years ago, didn't they? That's what most of us have believed since childhood. A giant asteroid slammed into Earth, every dinosaur died, and mammals inherited the planet. Case closed. Except, that's not actually what happened. Because one group of dinosaurs never disappeared. They're still everywhere. They're perched on power lines outside your house. They're stealing fries in parking lots. They're singing outside your bedroom window every morning. And if you've ever eaten chicken, turkey, duck, or quail, you've eaten a dinosaur. Modern nerds aren't simply descendants of dinosaurs. According to overwhelming fossil evidence and modern genetics, birds are living theropod dinosaurs, the last surviving branch of the same family that once included giants like Tyrannosaurus rex and Velociraptor. But that raises an incredible question. If an asteroid powerful enough to wipe out nearly 75% of all species struck Earth, why did every giant dinosaur disappear, while a handful of tiny feathered dinosaurs survived? Today, we're going back to the worst day on Earth's history to uncover how birds became the last dinosaurs and why the pigeons walking through your local park are the greatest survival story ever told. 66 million years ago, Earth looked completely different. Massive dinosaurs ruled every continent. Towering forests stretched across the landscape. Flying reptiles filled the skies. Life seemed unstoppable. Then, without warning, a mountain-sized asteroid, roughly 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles wide, slammed into what is now Mexico. It hit with unimaginable force. The impact released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs exploding at the same time. Within seconds, the surrounding landscape was vaporized. Anything close to the impact didn't simply burn. It ceased to exist. A gigantic shockwave raced across continents faster than the speed of sound, flattening forests and throwing debris thousands of kilometers into the atmosphere. The blast triggered earthquakes so powerful they reshaped the Earth's crust. Massive tsunamis taller than skyscrapers crashed into coastlines around the world. But strangely, that wasn't what killed most dinosaurs. The real nightmare began after the explosion. As the asteroid struck Earth, trillions of tons of dust, ash, and vaporized rock blasted high into the atmosphere. For months, then years, sunlight could barely reach the surface. The planet entered what scientists call an impact winter. Temperatures plummeted, photosynthesis nearly stopped. Plants began dying across the globe. Without plants, plant-eating dinosaurs slowly starved. Without herbivores, the giant predators soon followed. One by one, entire ecosystems collapsed like rows of falling dominoes. It didn't matter how powerful you were. It didn't matter how sharp your teeth were. On this new Earth, strength meant almost nothing. Survival depended on something entirely different. The extinction event wasn't just a disaster. It was the biggest survival competition in the history of life, and almost every dinosaur failed. Except one small group that possessed a surprising combination of traits. Imagine nature hosting the most brutal elimination game ever created. There are no second chances, no rescue, no escape. Only one question matters. Can you survive? Round 1. Size matters. Meet our first contestant, Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the largest land predators to ever exist. Standing over 12 feet tall at the hips and weighing several tons, a single T-Rex needed enormous amounts of food just to stay alive. That worked perfectly in a world full of giant prey. But after the asteroid, food became incredibly scarce. Large animals have one major weakness. They burn huge amounts of energy every single day. Without enough food, starvation comes quickly. Now compare that to another contestant, a small ground-dwelling bird about the size of a modern quail. It needed only a tiny fraction of the calories required by a T-Rex. It could survive on scattered seeds, insects, and whatever scraps remained after the catastrophe. When food disappeared, being small became one of the greatest survival advantages imaginable. The scoreboard lights up. Small bird survives round 1. But the competition was only just getting started, because the next challenge would prove even more devastating, and it had nothing to do with size. It had everything to do with what was inside your mouth. The next challenge wasn't about strength, it wasn't about speed, it was about food. When the asteroid blocked sunlight, forests withered, flowering plants died back, Food chains collapsed, fresh meat became rare, and many animals simply couldn't find enough to eat. For most meat-eating dinosaurs, that was the end. Their sharp teeth were perfect for tearing flesh, but useless if there was no prey left to hunt. Now look at the small birds that survived. Unlike many of their dinosaur relatives, they had beaks instead of heavy specialized teeth. A beak is one of the most versatile tools in nature. It can crack hard seeds, pick insects from the ground, dig through soil, or collect almost anything edible. Most importantly, seeds became one of the few reliable food sources left after the disaster. Many seeds could survive months or even years buried beneath ash and soil waiting for sunlight to return. While giant predators searched desperately for disappearing prey, small birds simply searched for seeds. The scoreboard flashes again. Large carnivorous dinosaurs eliminated. Seed-eating birds advanced to the next round. But survival wasn't guaranteed yet. One final obstacle remained, and it destroyed many birds that had already escaped the asteroid itself. Most people imagine birds surviving because they could fly away. Ironically, flying wasn't always an advantage. Before the asteroid, many early birds lived almost entirely in forests. They nested in trees, they found food in tree canopies, they escaped predators by taking to the branches. Then, the asteroid changed everything. Global wildfire swept across enormous areas. Countless forests burned. The surviving trees soon died as years of darkness prevented new growth. For tree-dwelling birds, their entire world vanished. No nesting sites, no shelter, no forests. Many of them disappeared forever. But birds that spent most of their time on the ground faced a different reality. They searched open areas for seeds. They could walk long distances to find food. Some even sheltered in burrows or low vegetation while the environment slowly recovered. For them, life was still incredibly difficult, but it wasn't impossible. The final scoreboard appears. Ground-dwelling birds survived. Out of thousands of dinosaur species, only a handful of bird lineages remained. They had passed nature's most brutal survival test. For years, Earth remained cold and dark. Then, little by little, the dust settled. Sunlight returned. Plants began growing again. Forests slowly spread across the continents. But something had changed forever. The giant dinosaurs were gone. The skies, once ruled by enormous reptiles, were now empty. The forests had no giant predators. The planet was full of opportunity. The surviving birds didn't stay the same. Over millions of years, evolution transformed them into hundreds, then thousands of new species. Some developed long legs and became fast runners. Others evolved powerful wings and mastered long-distance flight. Some became expert hunters with razor-sharp talons. Others specialized in fishing, climbing trees, cracking nuts, or sipping nectar, or diving beneath the ocean. The feathers they already possessed evolved into countless shapes and colors, helping birds survive in deserts, jungles, mountains, grasslands, frozen tundras, and even crowded cities. From a few survivors, life exploded into more than 11,000 bird species alive today.